All right, today we're putting on our detective hats. We're going to take a word we all think we know, design, and dig into its past. And I promise you, what we find is going to completely flip how you think about it. Ready? Let's get into it.
So, here's the puzzle right up front. On one hand, we think of design as all about the future, right? Innovation, creating something new. But what if I told you the word's ancient roots point in the complete opposite direction? We're talking memory, recollection, even loss. How can it be both? Well, that's the mystery we're here to solve. Let's start following the breadcrumbs.
First things first, let's establish what our prime suspect, design, actually looks like in the modern world. To crack a case, you gotta understand the official story first. Right now, we see design as that initial spark, that flash of genius. It's the imaginative part that happens way before anyone starts planning or building anything. It's all about conceiving something brand new, something for tomorrow. And here is where our investigation really kicks off. This is the question that sends us tumbling down the rabbit hole. What if this act we see is so forward-looking, is actually rooted in a deep, profound look backward? Okay, so let's pick up the scent. We're now following the linguistic trail way back in time, starting with a clue that might feel a little bit familiar.
Our first piece of evidence takes us to Latin. The English word design breaks down into de and signare. Now, this combo isn't about, creating something from scratch. It's more about deriving or inferring something. It's like finding a sign that points to something that's already there. So, right away, design is less about making stuff up and more about figuring stuff out. It's a subtle difference, but trust me, it's a huge clue.
And bam, here's our first major plot twist. We jump over to Greek, and the word for design is Skeddio. And you know what that word comes from? A root that means nearly or almost. Whoa! Suddenly design isn't about a perfect, finished future thing. It's about approximation, about incompleteness. It's about getting close to something, but maybe not quite reaching it. How interesting is that?
But we're not done yet. We've got to go one level deeper. We follow the trail from Skeddio back to its root, skedon, and that leads us to the real bombshell, eschein. And get this, eschein is the past tense of the verb to have. Yeah, you heard that right, the past tense. So, what in the world does to have had something have to do with design? This is it. This is that moment in the detective story where all the weird, disconnected clues suddenly snap together and reveal a conclusion that feels, well, totally impossible. Just let that sink in for a second. According to its deepest, oldest roots, design isn't about creating what we're going to have. It's about trying to remember something we once had and lost. It's an act of looking back. So what this means is that this forward-looking thing we call design is really a search back through a foggy memory for something we've lost. The very thing we're trying to make for the future is actually just an echo of something from a past we can't quite pinpoint. I mean, this just flips the whole script, doesn't it? Think about it this way. An architect isn't just inventing a building out of thin air. They're trying to recall the fundamental idea of shelter. A UX designer isn't just creating an app. They're rediscovering the most natural, intuitive way a person can get something done. Okay, so if design is really about looking backward, then what does that mean for our obsession with novelty and innovation? Are we all just chasing a ghost? Now let's look really closely at the definition of innovation. See that sneaky little phrase in there, as if for the first time? That's the key. It's a little linguistic loophole. It means something doesn't actually have to be new, it just has to feel new. It basically opens the door for novelty to be a complete illusion. And I love this metaphor of a tree. It just explains it perfectly. Innovation is like adding a new leaf. Yeah, it's new, it looks fresh, but it's still part of the same old branch. But originality? That's like adding a new root. It goes back to the source, back to the origin, and makes the whole thing stronger. Innovation looks forward, but originality has no choice but to look back. This isn't some radical new idea. The ancient pre-Socratic philosophers were talking about this thousands of years ago. They argued you can't create something from a total void. You can't just snap your fingers and poof, something exists that had no precedent, no form, no anything before. So if we follow that ancient logic, what we call new has to be a kind of trick, an illusion our senses fall for. It's not creation, it's transformation. It's just rearranging the pieces that are already on the board to create the appearance of something new. It's like a magician with a deck of cards. The cards are all the same, but the hand you're dealt looks totally different.
So, we've followed all the clues, we've unraveled the paradox. Now it's time to deliver the final verdict in our case, the true identity of design. Let's just make sure we're crystal clear on our terms here. Invention is about making something up, a pure human creation. But discovery, that's finding something that was already there, just waiting for us, outside of what we knew. One's an act of imagination, the other is an act of revelation.
And here it is, the verdict. The only thing that can be truly, genuinely new to us comes through discovery. It's not about inventing things out of thin air. It's about uncovering the principles, the forms, the ideas that already exist in the universe, but were just hidden from our view.
And this is just the beautiful final piece that ties the whole mystery together. In ancient Greek, the word for truth, aletheia, literally means unforgetting or unconcealing. So the search for truth is an act of remembering. Just like design, it's a process of bringing something that was lost or hidden back into the light. It all connects.
So, let's wrap up our case file. Design, it turns out, is not about inventing the future. It's a backward-looking process, a search for a lost origin. It's an act of recollection, of unforgetting. It is, at its heart, the discovery of what is already there, just waiting for us to find it.
So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. The next time you sit down to create something you think is brand new, just stop and ask yourself, am I really inventing this from scratch? Or am I just listening really, really carefully for a memory, an echo of something I once had that's just been waiting for me to discover it all over again?